Hi, I'm Jania. 6 months ago, my mother passed away after a long battle with cancer. We were always close, especially in those final months when I took a leave of absence from my job as a financial advisor to care for her. My sister Kimberly, on the other hand, barely visited. She was too busy planning her wedding to Derek, her boyfriend of 8 months. Jania, you're making coffee wrong again, Kimberly said, leaning against my kitchen counter one Saturday morning. Mom always used filtered water. I know how Mom made coffee, I replied, pouring myself a cup. I was the one with her every day, remember? Kimberly rolled her eyes. Speaking of Mom, have you gotten the inheritance paperwork sorted? My wedding venue needs the final payment next week. I nearly choked on my coffee. What does your wedding have to do with Mom's inheritance? Well, obviously I'm counting on my half to cover the costs. Kimberly examined her manicure. I've already put deposits down on everything. The Westlake venue alone is $30,000. Kim, the lawyer said it would take months to settle everything, and Mom's will specifically left the house to me since I was her caretaker. I set my mug down. She left you her jewelry collection and 20% of her savings. Kimberly's face hardened. That's not fair. I'm planning a $70,000 wedding. Mom would have wanted to help. You need to split everything 50-50. That's not what her will says, Kim. I spent my entire savings caring for her while you were picking out centerpieces. You've always been her favorite, Kimberly snapped. Just because you stayed in this boring town while I actually tried to build a life. It's not my fault I couldn't drop everything to play nurse. My phone rang, saving me from responding. It was my cousin Zoe. Hey, Jania, Zoe said tentatively. Are you sitting down? I just got off the phone with Aunt Patricia, who talked to Derek's mom at their engagement party. What's going on? I asked, turning away from Kimberly. Kim's been telling everyone that you promised to give her your portion of the inheritance to pay for her wedding. She said you felt guilty for hogging all Mom's attention during her final days. My stomach dropped. She said what? There's more, Zoe continued. She told Derek's parents that you're living in Mom's house rent-free until you sell it and give her half the money. She's even been showing people pictures of Mom's house, calling it her wedding fund. I glanced back at Kimberly, who was now scrolling through her phone, completely oblivious to the fact that her lies were unraveling. I've got to call you back, I said to Zoe. Don't do anything crazy, Zoe warned. You know how Kim gets when she's cornered? After hanging up, I walked back to Kimberly. So, interesting thing. Apparently, I've promised to fund your entire wedding. News to me? Kimberly's eyes widened briefly before narrowing. I never said that. Really? Because Derek's parents seem to think otherwise. And Aunt Patricia. And apparently half the wedding party. You're twisting my words, Kimberly said, standing up straighter. I just said you were helping, which you should be. It's what Mom would have wanted. Don't you dare speak for Mom, I said, my voice shaking. You barely spoke to her in her final months. You don't get to decide what she would have wanted now. Whatever. Kimberly grabbed her designer purse. Just have your portion ready by next Friday. The venue won't hold my date without final payment. She headed for the door. Oh, and I need you at the cake tasting tomorrow. Try to look presentable for once. As the door slammed behind her, I stood in my kitchen, Mom's kitchen, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about Kimberly rewriting history while Mom wasn't here to defend herself. She said what? Marcus, my mother's longtime attorney and family friend, leaned forward across his desk. Jania, your mother was exceptionally clear about her wishes. I nodded, clutching the copy of Mom's will he'd given me. I know, but Kimberly's telling everyone I promised to fund her wedding with my inheritance. That's not just misleading. She's potentially committing fraud if she's collecting money based on false promises about assets she doesn't control. Marcus removed his glasses and pinched the bridge of his nose. Has she put anything in writing? Texts, emails? Just verbal claims to family and friends, I said. But she's expecting me to hand over money by next Friday. That's not happening, Marcus stated firmly. Your mother's estate is still in probate. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't legally transfer those assets yet. As I left Marcus's office, My phone buzzed with a text from my Aunt Denise, Mom's sister. Need to talk. Coffee at Milltown in 20? When I arrived, Aunt Denise was already seated, 2 coffees waiting. Her expression was grim. I just got off the phone with Kim, she began without preamble. She's telling everyone you've been hiding assets from the estate. Says you took jewelry and cash from your mom's house before the will was even read. That's ridiculous, I exclaimed. I've cataloged everything with Marcus. There's an inventory list. I know that, Denise said, reaching for my hand. Your mother trusted you completely, but Kim's spinning quite a tale. She even told me you convinced your mother to change her will on her deathbed. Mom updated her will 2 years ago, when she was first diagnosed. Kim knows that. Denise sighed. Honey, I think this goes deeper than the money. Kim's always felt she was second best. Your mother was always so proud of how responsible you were, while Kim was, well, Kim. That doesn't excuse lying about me to finance her ridiculous wedding, I said, my voice rising. A couple at the next table glanced over. Of course not, Denise agreed. I'm just saying, know what you're walking into. This isn't just about the inheritance for her. After saying goodbye to Denise, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. Is this Jania? A deep male voice asked. Yes, who's this? Derek, Kim's fiancé. We need to talk. 30 minutes later, I was sitting across from Derek at a local bar. He looked nothing like the smiling man in Kim's Instagram photos. Look, he began, fidgeting with a napkin. Kim told me you promised to help with the wedding. We've made commitments based on that. I never promised anything, I countered. And Mom's will is clear about the distribution of assets. But you're getting the house and most of the money, Derek exclaimed. How is that fair? Kim deserves an equal share. My sister barely visited our dying mother, I said coldly. I quit my job to care for her. The distribution reflects that reality. Kim says you manipulated your mother when she was vulnerable, Derek shot back. I laughed bitterly. Is that what she told you? Did she mention she visited exactly 3 times in 6 months? Or that she spent one of those visits showing Mom wedding venues on her iPad while Mom was on oxygen? Derek's expression faltered. Kim says a lot of things, I interrupted. Has she told you we're currently $50,000 in debt from Mom's medical bills that insurance didn't cover? Bills I'm paying because Kim claimed she couldn't contribute? Derek's face paled. 50,000? She never mentioned. Of course she didn't, I said, standing up. Just like she never mentioned that the family heirloom engagement ring she's wearing is actually a replica. Mom sold the original to help with medical costs. As I walked away, my phone buzzed with a text from Zoe. We need to talk strategy. Kim's bridal shower is this weekend. I think it's time for some truth. The night before the bridal shower, I sat at my kitchen table, the same table where my mother and I had shared countless conversations during her illness. Spread before me were the will, medical bills, and bank statements. Evidence of truth. Zoe paced the kitchen, phone in hand. Her Instagram is full of wedding posts. Look at this. She's hashtagging everything with #thanks mom for the wedding. I felt sick. She's really telling everyone I promised her the money. Not just telling, she's banking on it. Zoe sat across from me. Derek's mother called my mom today. Apparently, Kim told her future in-laws that you're selling your mom's house next month specifically to fund the wedding. That's why I have to do this, I said, organizing the documents into my folder. It's not about the money anymore. It's about the lies. Are you ready for the fallout? This won't end quietly. I thought about my mother's letter, tucked safely in my bedside drawer. Stay strong. Some things are worth fighting for, even if they're painful. What exactly are you going to say tomorrow? I took a deep breath. The truth with receipts. Literally. Zoe squeezed my hand. I've got your back, no matter what happens. That means everything, I said, feeling a strange calm settle over me. Kim has spent her whole life twisting reality to get what she wants. Tomorrow, that stops. The Westlake Country Club's banquet room sparkled with blush and gold decorations. I stood in the corner with Zoe watching Kimberly showcase her expensive engagement ring to her friends. "Are you sure about this?" Zoe whispered, eyeing my folder of documents. "She's left me no choice," I replied firmly. The party planner clinked her glass. "Ladies, now the maid of honor would like to say a few words." I moved to the front, feeling all eyes on me. "For those who don't know me, I'm Jania, Kimberly's sister. Thank you all for coming." Kimberly beamed, expecting praise and platitudes. "My sister has always known exactly what she wants," I continued, "and she's never let anything or anyone stand in her way, including our mother, who passed away 6 months ago." The room grew quiet. Kimberly's smile vanished. "Many of you have heard that I'm contributing to this wedding by selling my mother's house. I thought it would be helpful to clarify a few things." I held up Mom's will. "This clearly states that I inherited the house and 80% of her assets, while Kimberly received her jewelry and 20% of her financial assets." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Jania, stop this right now," Kimberly hissed. "Second, the medical bills." I displayed the stack of invoices. $50,000 that I've been paying alone because Kimberly claimed she couldn't contribute. "You're ruining everything," Kimberly shouted, standing up. Derek appeared at the doorway. "What's going on?" "She's lying about me," Kimberly pointed at me. "She's trying to keep all of Mom's money." "Is it true?" Derek asked me. "About the will? The medical bills?" "Every word," I confirmed. "I have all the documentation." Kimberly lunged forward, grabbing my arm. "You promised we'd split everything." "Let her go, Kim," Derek demanded. "She manipulated our mother." Kimberly's nails dug into my skin. Aunt Denise stepped between us. "Kimberly Ann Mitchell, your mother would be ashamed of your behavior." Kimberly released me in shock. "This isn't over. I'll sue for my fair share." As I turned to leave, Kimberly grabbed a champagne flute and hurled it at me. It shattered against the wall, missing my head by inches. "You'll regret this," she threatened as Derek and others restrained her. "Assault charges and a restraining order," Officer Patel explained as she finished taking my statement. "With multiple witnesses and the venue's security footage, this is straightforward." 3 days later, I sat in Marcus's office reviewing paperwork when Aunt Denise arrived. "How are you holding up?" she asked, sitting beside me. "Better than expected," I replied. "It's like a weight has been lifted." Marcus nodded. "Kim's lawyer has called 4 times already, demanding mediation for the estate." "Let me guess. They're claiming Mom was mentally incompetent when she updated her will?" "Among other things," Marcus confirmed. "But we have her doctor's certification and 2 witnesses. Their case has no merit." "What about the wedding?" Denise asked. "Postponed indefinitely," I said. "Derek's parents withdrew their contribution after learning about Kim's lies, and Derek is reconsidering his relationship with someone who throws glassware at her sister." "The venue is suing for breach of contract," Marcus added, "along with several vendors who won't refund deposits." Later that week, I was having lunch with Zoe when Kimberly walked into the cafe. She spotted me and approached our table, looking disheveled. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice subdued. Zoe squeezed my hand and stepped away to give us privacy. "I suppose you're happy now," Kimberly said bitterly. "My wedding's canceled, Derek's gone, and everyone thinks I'm crazy." "That wasn't my goal," I replied honestly. "Why did Mom leave you everything? I was her daughter too." "She didn't leave me everything, Kim. She made decisions based on our choices, not on how much she loved us." Kimberly's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, okay? About the bridal shower, about the things I said. I was desperate. The wedding kept getting bigger, more expensive. I couldn't back down." "An apology doesn't erase what you did," I said firmly. "You lied about me, tried to steal what Mom left to me, and physically attacked me." "You're being dramatic. It was just a glass and I missed." "You aimed for my head, Kim. If you'd connected, I could have been seriously injured." Kimberly wiped away a tear, though I couldn't tell if it was genuine or calculated. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under. Derek's family has money, real money. I needed this wedding to be perfect. So perfect that you were willing to steal from your sister? To lie to everyone? I didn't think of it as stealing. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Mom would have wanted me to have a beautiful wedding. Mom wanted you to live within your means. She told me as much during her last weeks. Kimberly's expression hardened. Of course she did. You two were always whispering together, weren't you? Planning how to cut me out? We were planning her funeral, Kim. The funeral you were too busy to help with. But we're still sisters, Kimberly pleaded, switching tactics. We're all that's left of our family. Can't we work something out? Maybe a small loan for a fresh start? I studied her face, seeing the same manipulative Kimberly, just with a new approach. No, I said simply. The restraining order stays in place. Any communication about the estate goes through Marcus. You can't just cut me off. Her voice rose, drawing attention from nearby tables. I can, and I am. I stood up, leaving money for my untouched meal. Goodbye, Kim. That evening, Zoe helped me paint my living room sage green, Mom's favorite color. So, that's it? You and Kim are just done? Zoe asked. Sometimes the healthiest family is the one we choose, I replied, making steady brushstrokes. What would your mom think about all this? I considered the question carefully. She'd be sad it came to this, but she'd understand that I had to protect myself and honor her wishes. What will you do now? With the inheritance? I smiled, thinking of my final conversations with Mom. I'm going to finish my financial planning certification. Maybe start a practice helping people prepare for end-of-life expenses. Mom always said knowledge is the best inheritance. She'd be proud of you, Zoe said softly. I know, I replied. And that's worth more than any amount of money. Have you ever had to stand up to family when they were in the wrong? What would you have done in my situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.